start with the roll call, please.
Is his sound system working?
Nope. I mean, it's still blinking.
Ah, there we go.
And then it automatically goes to you. If they want to speak, it blinks.
Right.
And then you turn them on, but you keep yours on.
Remedial training, folks.
Their equipment here is a whole lot more advanced than ours. All right, we'll go ahead and call the meeting to order, and we'll start with the roll call.
Brian Crawford. Present. Leonard Knapp.
Here.
Robert Meir.
Here.
Eula Simi.
Here.
Jared Ricky.
Here.
Lenore Feeney.
Here.
And Jason Higgins here. We have a quorum.
Thank you. We'll now start with a moment of silence. Followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We've now come to the section on the agenda, item number 5. We've had several requests to speak on item 6.3, but I would suggest that any comments be deferred until after there's a motion on the floor, which may alleviate some of the discussions that we might have, because we anticipate that at the time there's a motion, those discussions may become more relevant. So let's move on to item number 6.1, consideration of the minute meetings.
So moved.
Meetings. There's a motion to approve the minutes. Do we have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it. Item 6.2 is consideration of a request from the Office of State Police for reimbursement of 1,374.6 hours of sick leave for State Police Master Trooper Carla Billiot per SPC Rule 11.21.1. And I understand there's a representative of the department here to speak.
Morning, Mr. Chairman. Good evening, members.
Press the microphone right. Button. Is it on?
Sure. It's not on, but I can speak loudly. Good morning, Mr. Chairman, committee members, Colonel Lamar Davis, Superintendent, Louisiana State Police. With regards to this request, I do concur and I have approved this request.
And I understand this is consistent with previous approvals given by this commission.
Yes, sir.
Does anyone have any questions? Do we have a motion to approve the request?
I don't have a question, but I have just a quick statement.
Okay.
So I want to understand that Trooper Billiot will be retiring after this, so I want to thank her for her service to the state police, to the public, and somewhat bittersweet because she wanted to stay a little longer than she could give me an opportunity, but thank you for your service.
And I would also like to make a motion to accept the hours requested by the department.
I would second.
Okay, we have a motion and we have a second by Commissioner Knapp. And before we vote on, I didn't realize it was you sitting there, Trooper. I also want to thank you for your services as well. Thank you. Was that not her?
She back there.
In the back? Okay.
I'm HR.
You're HR, okay. Well, I'm not thanking you for anything. But I do want to thank and commend her for her time with the state police. We have a motion and a second. I know it's mixed feelings that you're having right now, but anyway, any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it. Okay. We move on now to 5.3, public hearing to consider proposed changes to chapters 11, 14, and 15 of State Police Commission rules, which were issued in a circular number 224. And I'll entertain any motions, and following any motions, we'll entertain comments from those who have requested comments if they still feel that they need to make comments.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to move to table all of the proposed rule changes other than 11.5 and 14.1 C and D.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second, Mr. Chairman.
We have a motion and a second. We'll open the floor up to those who requested the opportunity to speak on this issue, understanding that we're tabling other than those three that were set forth, 11.5, 14.1, 14.1 C and D.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman. Colonel Lamar Davis again. Just want to provide a couple comments and some commentary. You know, as I began reading this agenda for today's meeting, could not help but think of our earlier conversations and what we spoke of and how we committed to each other to work with each other. And it's in that spirit I want to thank you all for your commitment to the Louisiana State Police and commitment to continue to work with our agency so that we can always better our agency as well as our personnel. I also thought of the commitment that Lieutenant Colonel Payne and I made to you, which included our assurance that someone from our command staff would attend and participate as requested in all meetings and do our part to improve the agency. And again, I hope that we held up to that end of the bargain, and I assure you that we will continue to hold up to that end of the bargain. You know, we're not going to stop there. We're going to continue to communicate with you all, work with you all, and really do so in the spirit of just benefiting the agency, benefiting our troopers, benefiting our communities. You know, as I've come on as the superintendent here, I had a couple of things that I wanted to really deal with initially. And one was accountability. Building accountability at all levels of our agency. I started with that, and I continue, and my team continues to work diligently to make sure that we have accountability, and we will continue until we have perfected that. And if we've never perfected, we're going to work towards that perfection. So I assure you that. But also, you know, we're going to continue to work and building our policies, building our protocols, building our practices, and building our people. And as we do that, I think you all will see a much better force, a much better agency, and as such, a much better interaction with our community. So again, I want to thank you all. I appreciate your support, your assistance, but I also appreciate you holding us accountable and holding me accountable. That's important. And again, thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments?
Just real quick, Mr. Chairman. I think the commission and the department want to move in the same direction. We want to see changes. The department's already started implementing some changes in regards to training and some policy changes. So I commend your efforts. I think that how we get to that, how we move forward is what's in question, and I think it's a great idea. Get to, like you said, work together for that common goal. Thank you.
I'd also like to join in Commissioner Mears' comments and also say this. It's in substantial part due to our respect for you as Colonel and for the others that work with you and the efforts that y'all have been making, that we are going to defer the rest of the consideration of these rules. There will be a motion to put it on the agenda. If I make the motion, it'll be to put it on the agenda in February, just to keep moving in the right direction, and to make sure that we continue in our dialogues on those changes that need to take place. Yes, Commissioner Rickett.
Colonel, we appreciate everything you said.
Yeah.
Very good. Appreciate everything you're saying. Just from our standpoint, what we want to see more of too is more oversight and more checks and balances. I mean, I think, you know, certainly speaking for myself and the other commissioners that I've spoken to, that's the direction we're attempting to go with this. You know, that's something that will be in place after you, after us, you know, because we can look in the past and we can see that there were problems. And we need to make sure whatever you're building, whatever we're building, is not dependent on a human being, but that the policies, procedures, oversight, checks and balances are there, so the things that have happened in the past cannot be recreated in the future. That's where we're coming from with this. And I heard what you were saying, and I appreciate what you're saying, but when y'all are going through your checklist, we really need to add more oversight, and we really need to add more checks and balances.
And I appreciate that. You know, I am a 21-year veteran of the military, and what those that serve in the military understand is that it's about systems. And it's those systems that creates those checks and balances, and those are the things that save lives. And those are the things that also build a foundation for increasing and enhancing for the future. And that's my model. I've done it 21 years in the military. I've deployed with it. I brought soldiers back with it. And I've also done it for 23 plus years here at State Police. And those that have worked with me will assure you that that's the way I work. So I am not just building for today. I'm building with the mindset of making sure that whether it be a policy, a rule, or it's just a protocol that is put in place so that 15 to 20 years from now, it can withstand the test of time, withstand the test and endurance of those that may challenge it. And then we all benefit from it.
We're anxious to see what you bring forward. Thank you.
Commissioner Knapp.
Yes, I'd just like to echo that same sentiment. We look forward to working with you and moving forward with these rules. I wanted to clarify, we're gonna take up 14.3.
No, 14.1 C and D.
14.1 C and D.
That's understood motion.
Right, just for the record.
Okay, thank you.
Commissioner Crawford.
Mr. Chairman, I just want to commend Colonel Davis. You know, it's leadership's tough, and you're in a tough spot. You're inheriting a number of challenges that you didn't have anything to do with, quite frankly. But from what I've seen since your appointment, it's refreshing. I take you at your word. A lot of times, the things that happen with state police, there's a little bit of confusion in the public in what the commission does and what your office does as far as operational components. And so those things need to be more distinguished, and I think giving us some more time to reflect on that, both from a commission standpoint and from an appointing authority standpoint, I think is beneficial for us. We want you to be able to do your job. We want you to have the flexibility to control those operational components that are your responsibility, not the commission's responsibility. But we also want to do our job. And we know that we've all seen some things, videos, reports that we don't ever want to see again happen in this state. And so as a commissioner and as part of this commission, we have to make sure that where we do have responsibilities and we do have authority, not to overstep that authority, but to be sure that we're holding up our end of what we're supposed to be doing up here. And that is the more sets of eyes that we have on these challenges, the better. Including those public eyes and the transparencies that you have talked about so frequently when I've seen you sitting at that table in front of legislators and done very well. And so I think we're all working toward the same goal. I want to make it very clear, we're not trying to usurp our authority, we're trying to help you. And we're trying to, and I think further dialogue and conversation of how we go about doing that and helping the troopers out there in the field do their job better, making it easier for them to enforce the laws and protect the people of this state, I think it's good for everybody. So thank you.
Any other discussion? All in favor of the motion to table?
Mr. Chairman,
Oh, I'm sorry.
I just wanted to clarify that it was Rule 1135?
11.3.
11.35, not 11.5.
Yes.
11.35 and then 4.1 C and D that you're considering.
Correct.
All in favor of the motion to table,
The State Troopers Association wanted to comment.
oh, that's, I didn't see you, come on.
Okay, we filled out a card, but
Yeah, no, that's why I asked if there are any other comments, I didn't know if y'all still wanted to speak.
I'm sorry, I thought you meant from the commissioners.
You certainly would not exclude your comments.
One name. Mary Ann White on behalf of Louisiana State Troopers Association, and with Mark Oxley and Floyd Falcon. And I'll just kind of start. I just want to thank the commissioners for the opportunity to be here today, and for your efforts in trying, attempting to promote some change, positive change within the Louisiana State Police organization. And I realize that, most of the rules have been, the motion is to table most of the rules, and we would like and appreciate the opportunity to engage in further discussions if the rules that are potentially tabled, if they do come back, you do want to bring them back on the table, because we do feel like there are some potential conflicts with existing state police rules and existing state and federal rules, and so we just want to make sure from the perspective of the trooper that the trooper has one set of rules and laws to follow and knows exactly what he is charged with, what his obligations are, and that there's no confusion for the troopers as they're doing their jobs, which are very difficult jobs to do. And so those are my comments. I'll defer to Mr. Isley.
Hello, I'm Mark Oxley, you know me, Executive Director of the Troopers Association. Appreciate the opportunity to address y'all this morning. It's a matter of pride at the Louisiana State Troopers Association that it was an association initiative. It was the LSTA's lobbying and reaching out to the public that achieved Amendment 6 back in 1990 for the creation of the Louisiana State Police Commission. And we're proud of that accomplishment, and we're proud of the work that you continue today to do on behalf of the men and women of the department. And in the 2 years that I've been here, your purpose and your validity and the advantages that you afford have been confirmed for me, and we appreciate that. With your permission, I'm going to revisit my address 2 years ago when I first appeared before you as the director. And it's going to be brief, as it was then, and it's also my last. I'm finishing my term as director on December 31st. But I sat where y'all sat from 2008 to 2012. And Mr. Chairman, I sat in your chair for those 4 years. And it was quite an honor, a privilege. We did good work. And we created at that time what I call a triumvirate of sorts. And that was the commission, and that was the Louisiana State Police, and that was the Louisiana State Troopers Association, because every entity has a stake in what? In the welfare of the individual trooper and troopers collectively. And it worked very well. When we had an issue, we addressed it together. Lenore, you were there, and Bill. And this partnership facilitated a lot of the programs, the initiatives that were achieved on behalf of the members of the department. We discussed critical issues, sometimes there would be controversial issues in advance of public meetings, before circulars and agenda postings and the notice of the meetings. We met together and talked about the issues and the concerns that one or the other might have. And that worked very well too. We didn't always agree, as we do not always agree today. But oftentimes, together, we were able to achieve an accommodation. And if it was not an accommodation, we were able to come to a compromise of sorts. And sometimes even that was not possible. But we made the effort. And whoever did not get what they were hoping to get of the three knew that they had been given a shot, so to speak. We're looking forward to that in this important issue that's to be taken up later on. It's big, and everybody acknowledges that. And the best way to achieve what's best for the department, the individual members, and therefore the entire population of the citizens served, is to come together and get the best possible program, processes, rules that are possible. And, that is by partnership, I firmly believe. That's how the association attempts to do all of our business. And you are the major feature in this. And we're looking forward to that kind of partnership. And thank you again, and I say goodbye. They're telling me they're going to keep me around to help out where I may, and it'll be a pleasure, and so I do hope to see you all. Thank you.
Thank you.
The only comment I have is just sort of echo what Mark is saying. The proposal, the circular causes a lot of consternation in our organization, exactly what it means, who can we talk to about it. When you come to a public hearing, it almost becomes adversarial. These are the rules, and we can make comments, which we don't have a full discussion. We would hope that between now and February, whenever it would come up again, that we would have an opportunity to give some of the thoughts and ideas that Mary Ann, Mark, and I, and Jay have been dwelling on pretty heavily for the last mostly 2 weeks. We need an opportunity to share some of our comments in advance of a public hearing, so we might, as Mark says, come to something that's agreeable with everybody, if possible. It might not be possible, but we've offered to try. We have done a lot of work in developing some issues or questions or comments regarding some of the proposals and how we foresee they might play out. And I would like to hear the other side of that story to be better able to address. Thank you.
And I think, as is obvious, the reason we tabled this was to provide that opportunity for an exchange.
We appreciate it.
We're always open to an exchange, whether it be before or after circulars are issued, because we need input just like y'all need input from us. And so, but we want to keep it on, like I said, I might not get a second, but I intend to move to put it back on the agenda for February, not with the idea that we're not going to talk between now and then, but with the very idea that that's going to keep us talking as opposed to it just lying dormant. So that will be the idea.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Was there anyone else who requested an opportunity to speak that would like to speak?
We filled out a card, but do you, are you
I'm
going
sorry?
to call the card?
It's for,
Well, that's okay.
Mr. Chairman, your items are not on the agenda. It'll be at the end of the meeting.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
This was,
it's not-
item's not on the agenda.
Item's not
Yes,
on the
yes, ma'am, we're talking about just on this issue that's on the agenda.
Right.
You'll be given an opportunity later to speak. Okay. Hearing no additional discussion, is there anything from any of the commissioners they want to add before we vote on the motion to table all of the rule changes except for 11.35, 14.1, C and D? Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it. Now entertain a motion to adopt the rule changes as promulgated in the circular to 11.35 and 14.1 C and D.
I'll move.
We have a motion?
Second.
Second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it. At this point, I will move to replace the rest of the potential rule changes on the agenda for February.
I'll second.
Any discussion, other than the fact that we are doing that so we can have the opportunity to meet and talk more? Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it. Okay, it takes us to the director's report.
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman. The first item in your report would be a list of the commission expenditures, as always. Any questions regarding the commission's expenditures at this time? Now, the next item I wanted to speak on was just briefly touch base and update you on the promotional exam, which we recently completed the November promotional exam and consolidated the list of eligibles in accordance with State Police Commission Rule 7.22. This was the first time we held a second promotional exam opportunity like this in any calendar year. We had 132 testers, and in this for the November exam, and there were approximately 205 testers for the May exam. So we had a good turnout for this trial run of the November exam opportunity. In the next 2 months, we will be posting an announcement and the application for the May promotional exam, which this time we have gone since 2018, and we've been able to consolidate lists since 2018, and now we're going to have a mandatory retest at that time. We anticipate approximately 400 to 450 testers for the May exam. We'll put that information out. Next item I have, and I think I included in your binders, is the sunset review. The House and Governmental Affairs Committee is meeting in House Committee Room 3 at 2 o'clock today to conduct the sunset review of the Department of Civil Service agencies. And I've included our response to the information requested by Chairman Stefanski. So that a copy of that information is included in your binder. And you're all welcome to attend. Also, we have annual trainings that need to be conducted by the end of the year. For those of you that have not completed your ethics and preventing sexual harassment training, will be by December 31st. Information has been placed in the front of your binders to take with you, and I'll follow via emails prior to the end of the year. And then I wanted to just touch base and advise that the next meeting scheduled is January 13th. The 2022 schedule for the commission meeting dates are included in your binders. And January will be held at our regular meeting location and set to resume at 10 a.m. And at that time, the election of officers will be conducted pursuant to State Police Commission Rule 2.1B. That concludes my report.
Now will be the opportunity for those who requested the opportunity to address the commission on items that are not on the agenda. I have Mr. Carl Brown and Belinda Parker Brown.
I'm not sure if this person gonna show up, Jason, but he may show up.
Generally, these discussions run anywhere from 2 to 5 minutes. Do y'all anticipate a need for longer than that?
Yes, it may be a little longer than that, but not much longer. Good morning, everyone.
Generally, that's the rule. We'll see how
We're trying to follow the
pertinent we
rules.
are at that point.
Right, the rule is very important, that the rules, we got a problem with, not following the rules, that's for sure. Good morning, thank you for giving us this opportunity to speak. I'm gonna go first. There were, quite a few concerns that we have, and we were before the Senate on yesterday, and we had put in some public requests in regards to some very serious questions that we were concerned about. But coming before this commission is very disturbing. I see you guys have suspended some of the changes that we feel that is very necessary, that it happens to begin to work on the healing of our Louisiana State Trooper. In regards to the police conduct especially. But I have a question for each and every one of you all. Is there anyone on this commission that is presently being investigated?
This is your opportunity to present. It's not an opportunity to interrogate the commission. You've got the presentation you want to make. We'll
Yeah, I'm
listen to
just
your
asking the
presentation.
question. Okay, if you can't answer it, that's fine. Okay. I'm also concerned about the fact that there should have been some indictments that should have came down sometime this week that have been pushed back. And Dakota DeMoss, Corey York, Chris, not Chris, but you know what happens to him. Lieutenant John Clark. Are y'all familiar with those individuals?
We don't issue indictments. That would be the respective district attorneys or U.S. attorney's offices. You have to deal with them.
Are y'all aware of any of these people being indicted? Okay. All right. My concern is that I'm here in regards to your commission is very powerful. Okay? You guys are, you have a job to do. But it seems as though to me you either in the loop or out of the loop. What is going on? Is it really necessary for this commission to exist? Because apparently, you're not serving a purpose. In regards to the Ronald Green's murder, have any of you seen that video? Have y'all looked at it? You know, I envision myself being beat by a group of officers, beat to death. Have any of you envisioned yourself happening that to you? Can you envision that? And then it get covered up for 2 years. 2 years. Covered up. Do any of you know about that? Have any of you had any idea why a video, people that, the officers, the Louisiana State Commission, the Louisiana State Troopers, that you guys are responsible for, that you did not know anything about a video being covered up for 2 years? Why didn't you know? That's what I'm having a problem with. If you didn't know, why come you did not know? Or did you know? Because you should have knew. We have a problem with that. And here in the state of Louisiana, this is making us look real bad. It's national news, CNN, NBC, MSNBC, you know, all the national news stations know about what's going on here in Louisiana. And you guys are sitting here with a straight face, like you don't have any idea about what's going on. And if you do know what's going on, you haven't done nothing about it. I'm gonna leave some questions with you all, that some of these things are public records. One of them is, why is it such a large discrepancies in the disciplinary actions between white and African American personnel? How do you justify African Americans receiving harsher penalties than their white counterworkers? We're fed up with this type of treatment, people. We're not going to tolerate it anymore. You need to fix that. Okay?
If Mr. Brown is going to add some comments, you need to give him an opportunity to do that.
Okay, well, he get his 5 minutes, I got mine.
We're both speaking on the same topic.
No, we're
We'll
not.
hear from you, Mr. Brown.
Good morning. My name is Carl Brown with LUI. I'm a co-founder of the organization. And one of the things that we look at is when we stand and say the Pledge of Allegiance. And one of the key lines in there is liberty and justice for all, not just a few. And what I have is something I want you to consider is this. Our organization, LUI, is calling for police accountability. When the police are right, we're on their side. But when they're wrong, then we have to flip the coin. We're here today on the side of Colonel Davis with the right to investigate them. Thanks to the governor for appointing Colonel Davis for such a time as this. The colonel is doing a good job and he needs to keep the investigations going. We want the colonel to know he can call on us whenever he needs us, because we will protest, we will protect, to make sure that he keeps the investigation going. LUI's stance is we should make it mandatory that not only that officers carry misconduct insurance, but that they should also carry suspension insurance. Suspension insurance works like this. If you suspend an officer, he should be able to get his suspension insurance. If he's found not guilty, then the city would reimburse him or her for the insurance company the money. But if he's found guilty, then he will have to deal with his suspension insurance. We have a plan to recoup the money for civil suit and a plan for basic suspension. But the thing is, we don't want to keep sending officers home on paid vacations with taxpayers' money. And if that's what they think, then it's something that they're going to have to pay for out of their own pocket with the suspension insurance or the misconduct insurance. There's no such thing as a misconduct insurance now. That's why we need it now to save our cities millions of dollars. Thank you.
You know, and I'm gonna take the last minute that
Ms. Brown,
if Colonel Davis is gonna do his job,
Mr. Brown,
we don't need a smoke screen.
Ms. Brown,
Okay?
I will indulge you for.
Let the man do his job.
Thank you.
And we only supporting those people that is gonna be able to let him do that. Because right now, I know for a fact he's not able to do his job.
Colonel, if you feel you're not able to do your job because of anything that we're doing, please let us know. Thank you. Okay, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Any second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it. Meeting is adjourned.